Welcome to Morning Digest with Jimmy Disu, and of course, this is Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. Today is Wednesday, and I'm going to do things in reverse. Okay, I'm going to do the Dear Bumi first, so that we can all relax and then move on to the main issues after about 30 minutes. Okay? Now, let me read that. This is a part of this job that I hate. Reading out these numbers, but I have to, statutorily. And every time I do hear people complain and say, you did have the numbers too fast. And I'm wondering, you've been listening to this program for 1 year. You should have the numbers ahead. I think what I'll do now is I'll make Dan Baba my consultant. If you don't know what the number is, put a call through to Dan Baba and they'll tell you. I think that's the best thing to do. But I'm a bit lazy this morning, so I'll read out just the first three numbers, okay? 08, I can almost recite it like a nursery rhyme. 08091913913, 08092220913, 08092345913. Okay, let me just read the other three. 012367913, 012802913, and 012803913. Of course, the Twitter handle is at Lagos Talks 913, but please add at Jimmy Disu so that I can read it on my device here. My site cannot go the long distance to where the controls are. People don't know. I've been wearing glasses since I was 8.
Wow, that's a long time.
The voice you're hearing now is out of Kemi Ashekun. She's a very good analyst when it comes to issues like Dear Bumi. Kemi, how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you, Uncle Jimmy.
You look different today. What's up? Is today your birthday?
No, it's not. My birthday is in November.
You look different, and then we are wearing a lion blouse. Are you fighting? This is a lion skin blouse, okay?
Uncle Jimmy.
If you ask a Yoruba man, what kind of clothes is this? Ashwekuni. And ekun means war.
No, there's no war.
There's no war going on. Okay, all right. Let's take it easy this morning, Jerry. Let's put ourselves in the spirit of the World Cup and enjoyment for the next 1 month. But we'll still come back to talk about the June 12 crisis. I have a surprise guest for you. Right. Dear Bumi. This lady is called Dupe.
Okay. And
she says that I'm in my early 20s, tall and attractive, but extremely shy. Would you know if you are attractive? Maybe they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Well,
can you say you are a fine person? You are attractive?
No, you should be able to acknowledge yourself.
Are you fine?
Yes, I am.
I don't think so.
Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy, are you fine? It's my opinion.
Uncle Jimmy, are you fine?
But I'm fine. Well. Only if I get better. But can you actually say that you are fine?
Yes, you should be able to acknowledge yourself. You should get to that point where you're able to say, yes, I am good looking. For your own self-confidence.
But you don't look good looking to me, honestly.
Uncle Jimmy, that's
okay.
That's
how many toasters do you get in a day?
Well, should I be counting? I shouldn't be counting them.
Okay, you're fine. That's a lie. You're fine.
Thank you.
When you have somebody who says you're not fine and I lie, it depends. Okay, so Dukwe says that I attended a few parties with friends, but I seem not to attract the right men. She didn't say not to attract men. She says the right men. And said my friends simply go for what they fancy and I envy them. Is there a technique to it that her shyness puts men off? The men these days don't have time. You talk to a babe 1 minute, it's not good, you just move on to the next.
But this time
it's like a bus stop. A bus will always come.
She's not getting the type of guys she wants.
Not that she's not getting.
Not that she's not getting.
Aha.
She's not getting the type of guys.
Let me tell you what Dear Bumi says. Dear Bumi says that our eyes are supposed to be amongst our most powerful signaling mechanisms.
That's true.
Is that the one they call Ojuton Soro? Stop eyeing me like that now. I don't understand this. This is what you're doing, I lie.
No,
I don't believe it.
My hands are clean though.
It says that if you are going to connect successfully with someone romantically or socially, you normally make eye contact.
True.
In some situations, though, it is important to have a look around and survey the scene before making a move. Is there so much science to this thing?
Well, it's not science. It's old knowledge.
Is it true that if a man wants to most times when men think that they are toasting the babe, they don't know that the babe has already done the work by attracting
Very
the man.
true. Very true. That's
And then
correct.
sometimes the babe will turn around and say no.
Well, except maybe after she has been in touch with him, she sees that he has some qualities that she doesn't like anymore. Then she would say no. But most times the woman finishes the work before the guy even.
That's to translate to Yoruba. I hope Solomon is listening. Okay, here is another one. This is Ayoke, and it says, "Dear Bumi, I'm now independent of his money. A few years ago, I was made redundant and couldn't afford the rent to my flat. It was a struggle to maintain my car, let alone buy new things. Then I met this kind married man at a party, and sharp, the man just took up her bills.
Wow.
Took up her bills. He came to the house as often and as freely as he could for you know what and what it. But she says she doesn't think she loves me, and the feeling is mutual. But she takes his money. You see, woman. I don't think he loves me, but the feeling is mutual. You see,
That she's saying she also doesn't
this is an
love
economic arrangement. He says,
exactly.
I now have a good job and I'm back on my feet financially.
And she wants to dump him.
Unfortunately, this man doesn't want to believe I no longer need him and continues pestering me for the you know what. Should I sit him down and explain some things, how things are now, or should I ignore him and hope he gets the message?
Well,
is it better to
she
tell
has
somebody
used him.
directly to buzz off, or to hope that that person will catch on?
Sometimes it's better. It depends on the individual. Sometimes it's better to, release yourself gradually and let the person understand that, okay, things have changed.
The problem with listening yourself gradually is that even you could be drifted back into it. And then you just be in the ding-dong for so long.
Not if a woman has made up her mind.
Okay, if a woman has made up her mind that nothing for you.
Not if she has made up her mind.
That's what would have happened to her. I see. I'm not talking about myself. So if a woman has made up her mind, or if she's made up her mind that she's not dating you, she does hold you on a string. You keep going back and forth.
And
be tweeting,
gradually
SMS, sending chocolates and things like that.
Do Nigerian men send chocolates?
I used to in the days when I was active in these matters.
Your sets have.
I'm still active. There's another one here, Georgina, and she says that she can't bond with her son. And she says that I'm a 25-year-old mother of an 18-month-old son, and is the sweetest child you could ever hope for. He likes being around other people, but screams and throws tantrums when he's around me. 18-month-old. I thought it was 18 years. I had a very bad case of postnatal depression. That happens and most people don't know.
Yes, it does.
When I had him, and I'm not completely over it yet. My husband couldn't bond with our first child, so I pretend to be enamored by him. The only problem is that I'm still depressed and I cry a lot. That sounds...
She needs to see a professional. She needs to see a professional so that they can manage it.
But do women, apart from postnatal, if women just break up and cry, you just find yourself crying, what do you think is wrong?
It could be depression. Depression has different phases, and it's also different strengths, so to speak.
So the thing to do is to see it shrink.
It's better to talk to someone. Then lifestyle changes, exercising, try to go out more often. But sometimes you need drugs to actually get you back to that point.
Yeah, so I think you need to see a professional. Actually, I'm trying to link up. I've sent a message. I'm trying to link up with the Lagos State people for us to look at mental health issues. And I'd like to devote a sizable part of this this program.
It's very prevalent in our society. It is.
Yes.
Just that people don't talk about it.
You see, she says that the only problem is that I'm still depressed and I cry a lot. So a lot of people are actually depressed.
Yes.
How do you handle depression? Let's look at it from a practical standpoint, knowing that seeing a doctor might cost some money. That people, in fact, the reason why some people are depressed in the first instance is because they can't, even afford. Because they don't have money, So, but in trying to handle yourself, what is the best way?
Well, get a very close friend that you can talk to, who can talk to you. Get someone. If you're single, you might want to have a partner. Someone you have who is there, who can sometimes when you're down, who can talk you out of it,
Can make you happy.
and that kind of thing. Because not everybody can see a shrink.
Yeah, it's not everybody. And
then exercising too helps.
But it might bring the hormones up. Oh.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Exercising a lot helps.
I feel so sorry for this woman. And she says that she's depressed, she cries a lot. She changes and feeds and bathes the child like every mother should do it. But she does it like a robot. It's just emotion. And that she feels worthless. She just feels worthless.
And another thing is, was she ready to have the child when she had the child? That's another question.
Well, the question is that has happened, but the truth now is, how does she move on from that?
Move on from that.
This is a subject worth examining, and I think I need to bring in a professional to talk about these things at some point.
Yeah.
But we're now thinking of the World Cup. When the World Cup starts, I'm not interested in any other thing.
Everybody's
I think
focused on Russia.
Nigeria's going to win Saturday's match. You want to bet?
Do I want to bet with Uncle Jimmy? No, I don't. The last
bet
time
the
last time you predicted, you were right.
Yes,
so I don't.
It is Croatia 2-1. I'm the official octopus of Lagos Talks 91.3. Nobody dares challenge me.
I don't want to bet with you.
Take a bet.
No, I don't. The last time I was so sure that I think it was a match between Chelsea and Man United. I was so sure that Man United was going to take the day.
But what did the octopus say?
And then you said the god of football would trash Man United, and it was going to be 2-1. And I think that was the score at that time.
Camille.
Yes.
Look at this one. Says this is Linda. And says, Dear Bumi, I'm a single mother of a 2-year-old and I'm 26. I've been with my current boyfriend for a year and I love him. Recently, on one of his rare visits to his son, my ex made it clear he would love us to get back again. Isn't that sweet? We were an item for 3 years. My fear now is that I might discover I love him more than my current boyfriend. There's nothing wrong with that. Yet, my ex has two sides. He's loving, caring, and loads of fun most of the time. But he's also known to be a skirt chaser, and I'm really confused
that's
as
the
to what
thing.
to do.
The first question to ask is, what caused the breakup in the first place? What is that thing you couldn't live with that made you move away from this particular person?
She says the guy has every other thing, but he's a skirt chaser. The other one too might be a skirt chaser, but he might be smarter at it.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Do you know a skirt chaser at sight?
If you've dated a skirt chaser before, you should be able to tell with some signs. There's some
What
signs.
are the signs? Tell us. Let us know.
Uncle Jimmy, don't worry about that.
Tell us now. Okay, how would you know if a man is a skirt chaser? How?
First, there's the roving eyes.
Sometimes he could have an eye problem. What else?
No, there's the roving eyes.
Yes.
Then there's also the secretiveness.
It could
you
be
can't
his
touch
job.
My phone. You can't.
It could be his job.
No,
Look,
you should be open with your partner.
No, look, as a journalist, because I get sources of so many sources, I get all kinds of secret things that people send to me for your information only. I can't allow anybody handle my phone.
Okay, Jimmy, your case is different.
I'm excused from all
You're
that.
excused from that.
Okay, that's number 2.
Yes.
First one of eyes, he could have an eye problem like that. Secondly, it could be his job. So what's the third one?
Well, the third one is the emotional connection.
Most people are actors these days. Nollywood is not just for the actors. There's so many Nollywood.
But if there's an emotional connection, you can tell.
Look, let me tell you, it's like when women you have some babes, they send you texts. Oh, as I woke up this morning, you came to my mind, this and that and that and this. You're the only tea in my cup. Some women have it. Then when they don't put it on select all, it will go to about 90 people.
No, we're not. The women are
I'm telling you, I've seen women in this town who have no other job. They got sent the text. Oh, as I woke up this morning, you were on my mind. This. Then they go to one section in their phone. They don't select all. They go out and then wait for the alert. I beg, leave that one. Oh my God. Tokwe says that the boyfriend she had for 2 years has been the most effective, and that is the only one who knows where the key to whatever it is. All the others don't know. but she wants to settle down. But this one is the only one that has the key and is not available to settle down.
Then she should
The
move
key,
on.
you know the key I'm talking about.
Okay, I get the key.
Yeah, he knows where to remove the contact set and.
She should decide what she wants. It's up to her now.
Usually we want the two.
Yes, usually we want the two. That's true, but sometimes
usually you want the correct guy. He works at the bank. He has a good future. He dresses well. He wears a black shirt with grey trousers and black shoes.
With afro hair.
With afro hair and a beard. You know, he's a generous person. When he goes to the river, he casts out his net, he catches the fish, and throws it back in the water. And he doesn't speak to Renchi. But sometimes you want the man also who has the key. That key is very important.
The key can be worked on.
If you don't have somebody who can knock off that circuit,
the key can be worked on.
The key can be worked on.
It can be worked on.
There are some cars that are they don't, no matter
that
how
are dead,
how you want to kickstart them. Contact said no. Okay. Let me read the last one and then I can release you. This Bible is very interesting. This one says this is from a lady called Naomi. And Naomi says, for 8 years I had an affair with a married colleague. For 8 years, and they were much in love. Though he said I was his soulmate, he refused to leave it. They never do. Leave his wife because of his kids. They meant the world to him.
That's just an excuse.
That's like an excuse.
That's just an excuse.
You don't want to leave your wife because of the kids. I remember the saying that I saw in a movie that it's better to come from a broken home than to live in one.
Yes.
If your marriage has broken down, just walk away. In all honesty. Anyway, last year he suddenly died of a heart attack. Kai. The office had a copy of the funeral arrangements, but should I go? I think she should go for closure.
Pay him the last respect.
She should go for closure. And she even says that she's desperate to say goodbye.
She should go.
She should go. But I think part of her fear is that the wife might have known or heard about her.
She should still go.
She should still go.
Will
she need bodyguards or anything?
She may not need bodyguards. The wife might just look at her and maybe not talk to her, give her an attitude. But the wife is not likely.
That's if her name is not on the will,
her name can't be on the will now. She wasn't married.
No, you can put anybody's name on the will. Yes, you can You can have a wife and children and decide to give everything you have to your neighbor.
If her name was on the will, she shouldn't go.
Even in Europe, some people, all their family, they will abandon them and give it to the cat or to the dog or tortoise or something or butterfly.
If her name is on the will, she shouldn't go.
But she might not know. But the wife might know.
No, but I think usually you bury before you start to.
No, some people, as soon as they are dead, because in the will will be the way they will want to be buried. Yeah, so you'd have said beforehand that if I die, they'll call your lawyer.
I don't think he will do that.
But you think she should go?
She should go. I
think it's very, very important that people should attend funerals of loved ones because it gives. In fact, that's why I like lying in states, and that's why in most places where there's good knowledge, even the toddlers of the house, when they're lying in state and they're about to close the coffin, they'll call them and tell them, that say, you see, this is grandpa lying down there. He's going, he's not coming back.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Kemi.
Thank you very much.
You had a nice time, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Thank you.
That's there for me for today. We'll take a short music break and let the fisherman choose the song that we'll play. Let us play BB's song. Let us say BB's song. Let's play that Bob Marley, BB's version of that Bob Marley song, and then we'll be right back. Don't go away.
With Jimmy Dessou. after they took God from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hands of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly, and won't you help to sing the song of freedom? That's all I ever heard. Redemption song, redemption song, the song of freedom. I am redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Now but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop my time. For how long shall they kill our prophets while you stand aside and lose? Some say it's just a part of it. We've gotta fulfill the book, and won't you help to sing the song of freedom? 'Cause all I ever heard, redemption song. Redemption song, redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No, but I will tell you can free your mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop my time. For how long shall they kill the prophets while you stand aside and lose? Some try to say it's just a part of it. We've gotta fulfill the book, and won't you help sing? Sing for me, sing for me, song of freedom. Sing for me, sing for me, redemption song. Sing for me, sing for me, redemption song. Sing for me, sing for me, redemption song. Redemption song. Sing for me, sing for me, redemption song. Sing for me, sing for me, freedom. Sing for me, sing for me, sing for me.
Dissecting the major news stories daily. This is the Morning Digest with Jimmy Dessou.
Yeah, you're welcome back to Morning Digest with JBD So on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. Let's now get down to core business. I have in the studio my very good friend Simbo Olorunfemi. I don't know why I call you Sumbo, but it's Simbo, Abi?
Yeah, it is.
What's the difference between Simbo and Sumbo?
I'm not too sure, but quite.
But you know that you are not Sumbo, Shak.
Yeah, no. But some people are Sumbo, and a lot of people get to call me that, and I'm not offended by it.
No, please don't be, because I'm sure I call you. In my inner recess at the back of my head, when I'm thinking of you, I'm thinking of Sumbo. Then I'll correct myself and say Simbo. Anyway, it's nice to have you. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Now, Simbo is the publisher of the African Enterprise. I have the latest copy here, and our good friend is on the cover, the King of Radio. That's in there, So, you want to get a copy? Let me run a quick commercial for you. You want to get a copy? Is it out on the streets, or you have to? It's by subscription.
It's majorly by subscription, but you can pick up at a few places.
Hotels,
yes,
and stuff like that. Nice glossy magazine. Especially since this gentleman, our friend, is on the phone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Simbo. Yesterday was June 12th.
Yes, so.
What are your thoughts about the whole scenario? What do you think?
I will sum up June 12 in the title of an article I wrote last week. Mm-hmm. The title is June 12 is proof of what is possible.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, June 12 sums up, is like the most ideal, that it sums up what we should be. It sums up what democracy should be for Nigeria. It sums up the best about us. Doing away with all of those trivialities, all those proclivities, all those little things petty things that we've let dominate our mind, our thought over time. But June 12 was that day when we put all of those things aside. We put religious sentiment, ethnicity, all of those things, we put it aside, and we decided to do the right thing by voting people on the basis of what they placed on the table before us. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. And 25 years after, we're still...
Yeah, you know that for the younger ones, I don't think they would ever appreciate the fact that June 12 initially was like an impossible thing that would happen. Who would ever, again, in the history of this, who would ever have thought in the history of this country that you would have a Muslim ticket with the kind of box that we have all locked ourselves in now? Now you have various divides: religious divide, state divide, local government divide. If somebody is running an election from for example, from Ogun State, they say no, it's from Remo Division, it's not from Ijebu. We have all those divides down the line. Do you think we can ever have another June 12?
It will be difficult, but nothing is impossible.
Things have changed since then.
Yes, things have changed. Not for the good, unfortunately. But the truth is that even before that time, there were some of those tendencies were there. I mean, even some villages and all of that, they had some of these tendencies were there. But what June 12 did for us was it gave us wings to rise above it. And we should have capitalized on that. We should have taken advantage of that to build, to move from being a country to a nation. That was the opportunity that offered us.
Because if we had gone through with that, let's close our eyes and imagine that if the guy had done 8 years, 2 terms, back to back, just like if Buhari and Idi Agbon had done 8 years back to back, just like if Muritala Mohammed way back then and Obasanjo had done 8 years back to back, this country would definitely not be the same country we are talking about now. So we've lost 3 major opportunities to turn ourselves around. So for me, it's a sad reminder of the fact that there's maybe we need prayers. I don't know what it is that we need, but the Muritala Mohammed back in the day then, Buhari, Idi Agbon, back in the day then, this June 12th, Nigeria would, if all those 3 had worked consecutively, Nigeria would have been a much different country than what we have now.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree.
Do you think that is a spiritual thing or what?
Who knows? There are many dimensions to it. The people who are experts in that field say there are spiritual dimensions to the challenge we were faced with. But you see, Nigeria has this opportunity, has this ability to make the best of a seemingly worst situation that we might face ourselves. Look at what's happened with the recognition of June 12 now.
Yes.
I mean, it seems it came from nowhere. But if you look at yesterday, I titled yesterday a day of apologies.
Yeah.
With the apology coming from the president himself, the one from Hafsat.
That was quite significant.
I mean,
Hafsat is my man of the year. Hafsat is going to be my man of the year, not even Buhari. To have admitted, and I'm glad that at least we now know that Abiola had his own fault.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm one of the very few people who don't know how to quote everything in icing. For example, I've said publicly here, and I've said privately, that there were no guarantees itself that Abiola himself would have been a good president.
No, absolutely not.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. But most people would not say, no. And what was most important again, and I will never be tired of repeating it again, was that none of the elite of the politicians, very few of them, wanted Abiola to win. Yeah. But it was just out of their hands.
Yeah,
in their crevices, they all had their doubts about the man. They didn't like the fact that Abiola didn't owe anybody any favor. I mean, when I say didn't owe anybody any favor, but any favor you could publicly, or like somebody would say, I made him. Yeah. Or God, then I just want to appear to be humble. They say, God used me. To make him. Abiola he funded his election straight off.
Yeah.
We don't know where he got the money from abroad, but he funded his election. He didn't have any godfather. The man was a godfather himself. Even the elites didn't like the fact that he was the richest, most probably. He had the most women. For men, people don't know, is an important factor. It sounds trivial, but it is. Why all the women? They didn't like that. He was the most connected Nigerian worldwide.
Absolutely.
Worldwide. And I think that now with Hafsat's apology, we can now also. The rumor then was also that he was sponsored a coup in Chile, and he was actually seen distributing money to soldiers and whatever when there was a coup in Chile sometime in the 70s. And of course, he was also accused of being a CIA operative. Yeah. But I think that with the kind of business connections that he had, ITT and so on and so forth, even if he wasn't a CIA operative, he'd be involved in quite a few things. One of the reasons why I also feel that he might not have been a good president is he had he had his fingers in too many pies. And he's only human. If he became president, for example, would he stop all his businesses, running his businesses? Of course not. They'd probably be expanded. Would that stop him? Would he let off some of the women that he had in his hands, which I don't think was exaggerated? Very unlikely. And he was involved in so many, this committee with the Black Caucus and so on and so forth. I think Abiola would have worked well in a country that is automated, which is what he has seen in America. Yeah. They have a president whose competence is in doubt, to put it in the most polite way I can put it. But the system takes care, the core system, the civil service and whatever, is on autopilot. So if he does all what he does on the outside, they knock him back into shape inside. He's just a representative. But Nigeria is a country where you have to micromanage the simplest of things. Simbo, look at 1 second.
Okay.
Look at, you want to ease of doing business. A whole vice president has to visit an international airport to make sure that it is in order. What does that tell you?
It tells you that structurally, systemic, we have systemic issues.
Yes, serious ones.
Yeah. But it wasn't as that bad back then.
Back then.
That was I said. For me, perhaps if you look at it from this angle, Abiola might just have done well. Okay. One, he had some competencies, but the major one for me was the state of his heart.
Yes.
He had a good heart, and he was a man of the people.
Yes.
And I think that's paramount. We need someone who will be kind enough to feel the pain, the pulse of the people.
Of the people.
He was a man who was born into poverty, but he rose up and became one of the richest men in Nigeria. But also got the poverty out of his mind. Yes.
Yeah, because you see, some also went through the same thing, but they became very vicious.
Yes.
You know, if you know the history of some or two governors that we know, it's now that, now is my time. I suffered a lot, and so on and so forth. I've seen one or two happen like that. They got out of poverty, but poverty never got out of them.
Yeah,
So you're right. In that sense, you're probably right. I'm now beginning to have a change of heart that maybe with that kind heart, he would be somebody who would say, no, I think this is, we can't go on like this.
Yeah.
Let us do it this way. Maybe.
I don't think it was an accident that his whole campaign was structured around farewell to poverty. Because, Abiola kept talking about poverty, about the fact that, I don't know, Yoruba, that is the way the whip used to drive or chase poverty.
Yes.
You must never keep it too far away from yourself. Because you always have a need to use it.
Simbo, look, leaders have run fantastic campaigns in the past. But when it's time to do the job,
implementation,
yeah, they might just fall flat. Yeah. But I'm getting convinced by that argument that you put forward, that because of his heart, Abiola really and deep inside him had a generous heart.
Absolutely.
If you forget even his public posturing, if you knew people who are close, I had loads of friends who worked with him closely, and they always spoke, about his heartfelt generosity. Something like, "Oh, how is your wife? I heard that she's in labor. I see deliver." No. My friends who worked with him back then, even before the Concord, I'm not even talking of the likes of Dele Alake and so on. I'm talking of those who even worked with him in ITT back in the day. I wonder where my good friend is, Bola Yahaya. Wow, I haven't seen him for years. He was a PRO of ITT back in the day in Jibo, and I have a nostalgic feeling about all these people. Yeah, it's true, but we lost a golden opportunity. But one thing that also worries me again is, once we have almost resolved an issue, other things now start cropping up. Everybody is now coming out from the woodwork. From nowhere,
to lay claim to
either to lay claim or use it as a basis to ask for something else. Tell me, now a lot of them are asking about restructuring. Is that a major problem for our people? I'm not talking of politically. Let me tell you what my mind tells me. I think we need, before this restructuring thing, for me, is for the politicians. It's a political arrangement. Because if you're going to have restructuring but have the same leaders that you have, you're not going to go anywhere. If restructuring is not going to is going to reside power in your local leaders, who, for example, where you have a state government that doles out money to clubs and so on and so forth, rather than use it for infrastructural development and so on and so forth. That's not going to help restructuring. There's so many things. We have states who cannot pay salaries for seven months and so on and so forth across the board. Yeah, across the board. And I think that, one, it's for political arrangement. Two, it's for it's always used as an excuse. It's always used as an excuse that, we would be better off if we had restructuring, if every state depends on its own resources. When you get allocation from the federal government, you can't pay salaries because nothing has stopped you from developing your own local resources. Yeah.
There are opportunities that can be tapped to immediately.
There are opportunities that can be tapped to immediately. Yeah. But even with allocation to you, you can't pay salaries, and you keep shouting you want restructuring when you haven't even done the things that you should do. And that's where a state like Lagos is very lucky. Yeah. The IGR is very healthy. Ditto for River State. They have a very healthy IGR. And maybe I heard that I think it's Baptist State or so.
Or Gombe.
Or Gombe. With the little, it's the former Auditor General. Yes. With the little that they have and what they get, they've been able to turn the state into. But most of our leaders are bereft of ideas, and some of them are just plain thieves.
I agree. It's the restructuring of the mind we actually need.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the political arrangement of Nigeria. Let me be honest with you. When you talk about everybody, you restructure on a daily basis. Yeah. Sometimes you come to work on a particular route. After a while, you say, "No, I want to take another route." Sometimes restructuring just means changing things around.
Yeah.
And don't let's turn it into a word that nobody knows the meaning.
I agree with you.
You understand? I think that, for example, rather than keep harping on restructuring, the major problem of Nigeria now is education.
I agree. Because, well, let me take it back, because on restructuring, people talk about so-called true federalism. But the truth is, there's nothing so-called as true federalism. Federalism is federalism as long as powers are, they're more than one tier of government.
Exactly.
And there's no ideal form of federalism. Federalism is an arrangement that you come into by the different components that make up the unit, and that is open to negotiation from time to time. So the federalism in Switzerland is different from the one in America.
Of course,
it's different from the one in Nigeria. It's different from the one in Canada. So this whole idea of true federalism is unknown to us in political science.
And some of them want us to go back to regional. How can anybody say we should go back to regional arrangements?
It won't work.
When to get peace in some states, even at local government and the regional level, you cannot achieve that.
Nobody wants to give what he has taken.
You now want us to go back to the days of Western region. How would anybody suggest a thing like that?
No, it won't work.
It won't work. What we need to do is restructure our minds. And I say that the biggest problem, if you have a populace or a country or group of people that are well educated, governing them is easy. The only thing that is not easy is that you cannot unduly continue to dip your hands in the cookie jar, because they will ask questions. And that's why you find that most of our leaders, they don't want our people educated.
Yeah.
They don't want them educated. And selfish as they are, they want their own children educated, but they don't want others well educated. And that's what we have. Simbo, ask yourself, how come the level of education we had back in the day has been deteriorating on a daily basis, but the elite are ready to establish schools for their children, pay high school fees, and their children get educated, but the masses are not?
Yeah, because gradually with time, people began to see, whereas everywhere you assume that education is the best form of social mobility that takes you from one class to the other. But with time, we began to see, with military coming in, with people coming into money through unexplainable circumstances, it now became such that you could not necessarily say that you need to go to school to be successful. We now had so many people seemingly successful in society. At least judged financially successful. Who did not go that particular route. So, and if you don't make the deliberate effort to let your people know why you need to go to school, then it becomes not something that people by default want to get into. And that's where we are right now.
You know, when I think back, I think that what happened is that we have a carryover from the military. The military abhorred any form of education for the people, any form of enlightenment. Yeah. So that when they back at them, they stay cowed. And that's why you find that most times during the military, the universities were shut. They were either shut of the lecturers. They also had problems with lecturers and so on and so forth. They destroyed that part of our lives. And the politicians that emerged from there on, most of them are products of the military. And
they had the military mentality themselves, because from Ali must go riots, which was under the military. A lot of the people, even people with democracy in place, a lot of the people who are in leadership still have the military mentality of saying the governor has ordered that, the person has ordered. All of those things are not. Those are not words that you use.
That Ali must go. That Ali must go. He reminded me, because I was in uni then. But I saw a posting yesterday. I'm sorry to refer to this, but it's what I saw. Because of the June 12 whatever, Abiola's statue was. Yeah. And then they saw this bunch of students came and wanted to address the governor, so to speak. And I heard university students saying things that were that I just couldn't understand. They hailed him. Either they were expecting financial inducement, or somebody had organized them. And I said to myself, what we are trying to the people in power are trying to achieve what they want to achieve at the expense of the education and enlightenment of these students. If you see what these students, the kind of flattery, I said, are these Nigerian students?
No, that's what they've come to be. I mean, that's why NANS, you have different factions. I mean, NANS
I couldn't, for all they could be, they could have been a bunch of Juju band leaders, trying to extract. And then the VIPs were all there, they were lapping it up. And I said to myself, this is the beginning of destruction.
Absolutely.
When I was in university, we didn't know any politician. I'm telling you, we didn't. And we didn't want to. We couldn't be bothered. We were left. And that's why you find a lot of people in my generation, those who are still quite dark, they have their minds, they're very, very clear-minded. What I saw, they were groveling, they were begging, they were it's a sad.
No, that's how with the military. Absolutely.
Okay, let's see if we can let's open up our phone lines and see what some people have to say. Morning.
Okay, Jimmy, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, sir, this is Dan Baba.
I know.
I reach your guest. Uncle Jimmy, honestly, I've said much about this June 12th something. But on education, Uncle Jimmy, I don't think our leader will give us or give our children education, though. Because if they give us, things will be hard for them. But Uncle Jimmy, it is unfortunate now that if you are a salary earner and you earn from 50,000 naira down, your children cannot go to school anymore. If you have like 2 or 3 kids. Honestly, I don't understand. Especially in this Lagos, education is expensive. And this our leader enjoy free education. I don't know why they deliberately want to deny our children the right of education. And I am begging all Nigeria, we need to take our destiny into our hands. Uncle Juni, do you know how much is school fees now? I have kids that is going to school. I am ashamed how much I pay for school fees. Not because I am not financially buoyant, even if I am not, it's not a crime. But to me, it is unnecessary. These days, you hear parents say, do you know how much I pay for my kids' school fees? And parents are opposed to change children's school like the way they change the size book every time. Just because they want to show that they have money to take their children to anywhere to get education. And it's within the people that call themselves average rich. I think the people that I know as rich people manage a lot. I remember helping a wife of a senator picking her beans. And those little one, I threw it away. And she came to pick it. And she called me a rich man. And I was shocked. This woman, husband, and herself, they are very rich. But she managed a lot. But today, people are opposed. Even hospital. People tell you, oh, I go to this hospital, I go to this, and I see it as ignorant. How must we spend all this amount to get this kind of basic identity? It's unfair.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Simbo, let me read some of the tweets that I have here, and I'd like you to react to some of them. Okeze, I'll just read all, and then you react. Okeze Oji says that there was no election in 1993, and that if the foundation be destroyed, there is nothing the righteous can do. He goes on to say, he has said this before, so I'm reading it in the other one. It says, the 1993 election was manipulated by 2 friends, pitching a political neophyte against a colossus, which means that he probably thought that it was deliberate, that it was Bashir Tofa that was Abiola's opponent. Because it was a mismatch.
But there's a background to that. There's a history to that. That's like that's a conspiracy theory. I mean, there were politicians that were banned at some point in time.
Yes.
Politicians like Yaradua and all of them that contested in election. And
what he probably is claiming here is Babangida himself had paved the way for Abiola to be president.
No, you could not have. Abiola came into the scene at a point in time when some politicians had been banned. I agree, but it wasn't because they were particularly. He was not particularly excited about. The only reason why he allowed Abiola to run up to that point in time because he thought he was going to lose.
Exactly, he didn't know that he would get that reaction. Yes.
So that was it. Even up until we're told that there were security reports indicated that Abiola was likely going to win, but they didn't even accept that.
The same gentleman, Okeze Oji, asked a rhetorical question, and he says, "Could Abiola have won an election against Yar'Adua, Shinkafi, or Maitama Sule? It is worth examining. I will not dismiss it.
No,
but the wave of the hand.
The moment you do not, you forget what the foundation is, then you miss it. The primaries for SDP was fiercely fought. Fiercely fought. I mean, to the extent that there was a stalemate. If you remember, Atiku, Kingibe, and Abiola. I mean, they had to team up for, there had to be a rerun. What do you call it? A runoff. For Abiola. So it was really tight. Any of those people. And Kingibe had the SDP structure in his hand because he had been the chairman of the party for a while. And people you need to understand what was going on there. We had democratically elected governors already in place at that time. We had the Senate, the National Assembly in place. So it wasn't as simple as that. It wasn't as simple as that. That's conspiracy theory.
Okay. Now we come to another issue of what happened yesterday, and that is Buhari's apology. And he chose his words carefully. Listen. On behalf of the federal government, that's Buhari speaking, I tender the nation's apology to the family of MKO Abiola, who got the highest votes, and to those that lost their loved ones in the course of the June struggle. He didn't call him any other thing, but he didn't even call him winner, because technically Abiola has not been declared the winner. We whatever our sentiment, we still have to look at what you call process. He has not been declared the winner, and the president rightly chose his words and said at least he got the highest votes.
Well, for the president, that was fine legalists, the lawyers, they wanted for him because he's not the umpire. But for people like us, we reject the use of the word presumed. To qualify his winning that election.
But once you reject the word presumed, which is your right,
yes,
he was still not declared winner.
Well, if you want to even go that route, I will say, for instance, that quite at least 14 states had been declared, and the way that election was is not because people look at it. I brought this up, and someone say, "No, you need to check up what is the Electoral Act says." I said, "What is the Electoral Act?" We're talking about 1993. Electoral Act is post 1999. We had A4, option A4. We had to queue behind our candidates. Yeah. Elections were collated at state level, so the elections were ready at the point of every state.
Simbo.
And had been announced at that point in time.
Yes.
I had made a distinction between what I would call announcement and declaration. I have argued that it was not
between announcement.
What the person was supposed to do was to make an announcement. I argue that the results had been officially declared.
But supposing Wosu found irregularities, supposing that happened,
it could not have, because even now,
why
people are confused by what they see now because they've seen the latest set of elections. But even let's play what you see right now. When you have elections under the new guidelines, when Professor Jega sits there, Professor Jega hardly takes responsibility for anything. All he does is call up the returning officer from each of the states, all these vice chancellors who are signed on the results from each of the states. Okay. So he's not going to say, once Rivers State, the man says, remember the last election, the Rivers man was all over shaky and all of that. But the moment he says, he's appended his signature on what he's tendering before Professor Jega had no input whatsoever to that thing. It was just a ceremonial head to formally announce result and say by power of the power.
Are you saying that legally Abiola could have been referred to as the winner of the election?
I will argue that, sir. And
I didn't say are you arguing that. I said, would you say categorically?
No, he's open to interpretation. But my own position is that
yes,
he was.
Okay, was it? Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Fine.
Within all
the truth is these things really are not subject to argument. They're just subject to everybody. It's like religion. What you believe is what you believe. To be honest with you, there are always enough reasons for any side of the deal.
I'm actually talking law. in this instance. I'm not. But I'm saying.
And so two of us are naive now.
But when you say being a lawyer means, have you been to school to read? You can study. No, you can study law. You don't have to, and you can even represent yourself in court. So you don't. So some of us have invested that energy and time into understanding it to that point. That's why I'm saying that.
But look,
some lawyers have argued. Let's put it aside.
Let's just put it aside and say now, Rauf Aregbesola, where did I put that story? Says that this is the story here in the Punch, and it says that the clear Abiola ex-president Aregbesola urges Buhari. Buhari doesn't have the powers to do so. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, I guess he's speaking. That's political talk. I mean, maybe what he's asking the president is to activate the process of.
Then he should say so.
Which comes back to the point I'm trying to make.
No. Listen, he should. When people talk,
yes,
especially in public, okay, and when you are like a senior citizen and you are governor and so on and so forth, you must choose. That's why Abiola chose his words carefully. Don't whip up emotions of people when you know it is not possible to do unless some things are done. No, yes, because you see, you can't. Not be an ex-president if you have not been sworn in. Here is an election where you were not even legally declared president.
I would say that yesterday,
Yes.
Femi Falana, who is the senior advocate of Nigeria,
Yes.
spoke there yesterday and said he hears people saying declare him president. He doesn't know what they're talking about. The man is already president. That's his own. I mean, you might say that's his interpretation.
And it doesn't make it right legally.
No, it might. Because
if
I'm not a lawyer, he is a lawyer.
How can you listen? How can you have a president who one has not been declared officially.
Or has not been sworn in.
Has
you
not
mean?
been sworn in. It can't work.
Well,
Politically, you can make all the noise, but you still have to go through the legal process. And Simbo, let me tell you, let me say that, a lot of what they're saying is quite valid. Abiola won the election. I know that. We all knew that. But the legal angles are not well taken care of. And they must be. Because, most importantly, because of precedents.
absolutely.
Because today it is Abiola that sounds clear-cut. Tomorrow you'll have a leader who thinks are clear-cut to him, but might not be clear-cut to the majority. That is why you have legal guidelines to follow. Therefore, what I expect somebody like Aregbesola to say is that, can we activate a process that can bring this about? He needs to choose his words carefully so that you don't mislead people.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's it's
very important because if you look at what happened, I think the law has changed right now. But if you look at what happened or almost happened in Kogi last election, when someone had almost won the elections and now he died in the process.
Yes.
So I
remember.
The window you're opening up is like,
yes.
Okay, if that really is the case and president is in place, so it means if someone wins tomorrow and he passes on before point of swearing, does it now mean he's an ex? Which is a valid point you've raised.
Simbo, hold on tight to your seat. So I'm going to drop a bombshell now. Supposing somebody is anti-Abiola, this is hypothetical, and it says, based on the apology of Kudirat, Abiola should be charged posthumously for financing and sponsoring a coup, which is an offense.
That one has no, because you can't charge. You can't charge someone who is passed.
But somebody can say that.
Yeah,
now I'm just playing this. Before, I want people to understand.
You are saying that this can open up.
And I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate here, because once everybody is getting sentimental and
the law is settled in that.
For the record, I know what I did during June 12, and it's between me, my maker, and those of us that did it. I'm not going to be making noise about what we did and what we didn't know. So I want that to be very clear. I'm only speaking now as an anchor of a program and bringing out all the various issues, because the next thing you know, somebody will be treating that this is anti-Jew. I'm not anti-Jew. And even if they treat that, I'm past that point of bothering about misinterpretations. But I'm just playing the devil's advocate. Simbo, the one thing that is sacrosanct to me, apart from my religious beliefs, is the rule of law.
Yeah.
Especially for presidents.
Yes, I agree with you.
Especially for presidents, because now, yes, and that's why I want our leaders to be careful. Yeah. And I want the people to be very discerning because all kinds of people are now coming out from the woodwork to make themselves quote and unquote relevant. Whereas we know the roles that some of them played during their June 12 crisis.
Yeah. Well, the ultimate position of the law is what the court says it is.
It's what the court says it is.
Yes, that's the ultimate in law. I mean, that's what in decided cases is what is the ultimate authority. Okay,
because you decide cases. Yes.
So if maybe we'll get to the point where somebody might want to test what's the process that is being activated right now. Somebody might test it in court and know
because
it was legally right or wrong.
Some of us believe that Nigeria starts and ends amongst the elites, or Nigeria starts and ends in their own geographical area. Do you know there will be loads of Nigerians, if at all, at least those who voted for Tofa, who could have been against this thing?
Yeah, I mean, Tofa is on record. He wrote a small piece that says, even though he didn't come out outrightly, what he said was that the decision to recognize June 12 and should be reconsidered. That's what he said.
Yeah, but he has to speak for his constituency.
He didn't make an argument because I don't know what would be his point really.
Let's get to the point where people believe that Obasanjo should have been the one to do it. You want to hear my own position?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe I should hear your own first. What do you think? Mine or yours? Let's toss a coin.
I mean, my position is on record. Anyway, let's have yours.
Your position is on record.
Yeah, mine is on everything. I mean, okay.
Mine is outspoken. Okay, let me tell you what it is. Okay. Listen carefully. Open up your mind and relax. by the time Obasanjo took over government, our democracy was very, very tender. And under that circumstance, compounded by the fact that he was even a Yoruba person, it would have been almost impossible for him to have done what Buhari has done now. Because how would it have sounded when Obasanjo took government for him to... I mean, everything was tender. We were not even sure whether our democracy was going to work. You understand? If you have... I tell people that there are enough things to nail Obasanjo if you don't like him. But this one, I'm saying that when he took over government, it was too tender. You know, it was tender. We didn't even know where we were going. There wasn't even, you know, the atmosphere was not conducive enough to even have thought of this, talk less of have done it. Which was compounded by the fact that, now I'm not holding brief for Obasanjo, I'm just analyzing this point. Whether he was a good president or not, or whether he's a nice person or he's not a nice person, when we have that discussion on another day, I might say something. But I think that it would have been very difficult for him to have done it.
No, but my position is directly, contrary to that.
Yes.
And we have to lay the foundation right.
Yes.
I think what the mistake some are making is to assume that this action itself amounts to opening up old wound. Whereas that's not what it is. It's a process of healing. And that is why, as tender as the situation was at that point in time, that was the most important strategic opportunity for us to do it.
Simbo, experience has shown that it would have opened up a can of worms. It would have led. It was tender. When we say something is tender, we didn't even know in what direction we were going.
No. The essence of, we were trying
and don't forget that much as Obasanjo was placed in a manner to appease the Yorubas and so on and so forth, that in itself was a move. We were not even sure how the rest of the country was going to react to that. Because let's face it and talk like adults, we all know that making Fala a candidate against Obasanjo and the other one, it was some kind of arrangement to bring peace to this country, which thankfully it did.
Yeah.
So for you to have now, don't forget that this June 12th thing was perceived as a Yoruba whatever. And
wrongly so.
But you can see what the government did. They invited the traditional rulers of Yoruba land and didn't invite other traditional rulers.
Wrong move.
Abiola didn't win Yoruba votes. He won national votes.
Wrong move as well.
So I strongly believe that it was a sensitive issue that Obasanjo could not have handled in his time.
The fact that Obasanjo had the backing of the elite, had the people who called the shots, the so-called landlords of Nigeria, is that he could have done anything he wanted to do. And in fact, the reason why he would not have done it was he didn't want to displease the landlords and he didn't want to displease himself. Because the relationship between himself and Abiola goes far back.
Listen, let's take him and Abiola out of the, let's take it out. I don't want to hear those things because I believe there's a bit of trivia. How he did this and did that. That's personal between the two of them, because if we are going to lay it real down, the people who led us to where we are today include Abiola himself. Abiola, yes, he includes Abiola. Did his daughter not apologize that he sponsored a coup? So let's go along that route.
Yeah. But
we shouldn't.
Even in matters are public. Matters are public.
Look, the people
yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't go there because yesterday somebody spoke about. Just mentioning the matter of June 12 before him, his reaction alone shows that there is something to it beyond what we all know. How would he threaten? We're on radio. Let me not go there.
No, you can go there. But what I'm saying is,
the person who made the allegation yesterday didn't mention the name, so let me not mention the name.
And apart from that, I don't want to go. Obasanjo could not have liked Abiola or vice versa. That is between the two of them, and probably added to the reason why he couldn't do it. Yeah. But I am even saying that even if he was his blood brother and they were Siamese twins and conjoined and separated, it would have been difficult when democracy just came on for this thing to have happened.
No, what were we going to lose? What did we stand to lose? We didn't know. What did we stand to lose?
Look, listen. Even Buhari that did this, he wasn't so sure.
He's worked out.
And you are looking at the reaction here because you're in Lagos and you don't know what the reaction is like up north.
Yeah. You must admit that. What people in government do is is before you take action, you have strategic thinkers behind you. Why did everybody say this was the right move to make?
Yeah, no,
people. There were campaigns. People advised. People pleaded. People begged. People.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. With my experience in life now,
yes,
there are to ask a Nigerian for advice is a very dangerous thing because they all have agendas. We know what we saw during the June 12th crisis.
No, I'm talking about strategic thinkers. People who strategize.
There are hardly any strategic thinkers in government who are fair and open-minded because everybody in government has his own agenda. That most of the people, 99% of people in government have their various agendas.
There are people behind the scenes that we don't see who do strategic thinking on behalf of government.
Usually they are protecting their own. Usually they're protecting their own. I want us to be. I don't want to go like I said one more time that the Obasanjo could not have done it. How strong a president was he even? How strong a president was Obasanjo?
He was so strong that he actually wanted the third time. If you say it wasn't, maybe
but did he get it?
We talk about the first time.
No.
But the second time he was firmly in charge. He was so firmly in charge that he had a change of how many Senate presidents during his regime. Maybe he had how many change of how many national chairman of his party.
Simbo.
He was determining who would be governor, who would be. He was in control.
The way things are running in Nigeria is that it's like watching your leader dance with headphones on. You can't hear the music he's dancing to.
Well, I agree with you. There might have been influence behind
there might be. Of course, there will be.
There will be. Like I said, maybe for the first time, maybe the landlord didn't let him have it. I don't think he has an excuse. Really.
No. He has.
He will not have.
Maybe part of the bargain.
Yes.
Because we have a fair idea that he is coming to power was arranged.
Yes.
And maybe part of the bargain would be let this thing lie for a while.
That's what we're saying.
So you can't blame him.
No, it was between him and the landlords, and he has to carry the can. Because it was president.
No, listen.
It was president.
Listen. Ultimately, it worked without this one being resolved, and this one maybe now is the right time, and this is the right person to do.
Okay.
Let us close our eyes and assume that this thing had been done. When, for example, you had even if now you had the Yoruba, let's say even Oshibajo was the president now, whether he would want to do it.
No, we've had presidents even after President Obasanjo. President Jonathan was there.
Yes,
could have done it.
I talk about those ones that they could have done it. So, and I'm just worried. You see, what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is people bringing prejudices into arguments. I'd like to look at things dispassionately and plainly. I sat back. This thing just occurred to me 3 days ago or so when everybody was chastising him and abusing him and saying all kinds of things. And I said, of course, even the Abiola people said he didn't help them and so on and so forth. I agree to all that one. That's between them.
Yes.
But I now said to myself, but even if it wasn't Ambassador that was president when he came in, if you had another Yoruba president, would Falaye, who was even part of the June struggle, if he had been president for that period, could he have done it during that kind of time? I think maybe not.
I will even say that it was more in the interest of Obasanjo to have done it. It was in his strategic interest to have done that. He did not have the support. If it was about trying to appease the Yoruba
Nigeria people, does not start and end from Lagos to Ogbomoso. It's a wide area. You don't know what the leaders of the Buhari is a very strong person.
Yes.
And he's one of the strongest presidents we've had since we had that.
He's ready to go against the feelings of the elite.
Apart from that, Buhari was a much more stronger leader. Is a much more stronger leader than even Obasanjo because of where he's coming from. You can't take this. These are facts of life. You can't.
I'm happy you're saying that because a lot of people seem to think that Buhari is not exactly the strong leader that you.
No, Buhari might be doing some things wrong.
Yeah, but he's a strong leader.
You can't because look, all over the world, people become strong because of various things. Yeah. Where they're coming from, all kinds of things.
He has his own mind.
And Buhari has his own mind, and he comes from a place where when they talk life, right and center, they say he's one of our own. If he's not of that stock, the question to ask is, if Buhari, for example, had been a southerner with what people perceive to be his performance, what would the North's reaction have been now as we speak? Simba, Nigeria is a very complex country.
Very complex.
Let's hear what some people have to say. Hello.
Uncle Jimmy, good morning.
Morning. This is Solomon.
Solomon is my name.
Don't cough.
Uncle Jimmy, I totally disagree with you.
I know you will.
I totally disagree with you.
I know you will.
So if it can be asking for some time, so you cannot do this particular one.
Did he get it?
No, it's not a matter of did he get it. If he could have done this for Chief MK Abiola, I think he has nothing to lose as far as I'm concerned. In his second time.
Yes.
So you want to go for third time just because of his third time? Are you telling me that just because of his third time, that is why he did not do that?
Wait. Solomon.
I'm listening.
Solomon.
I'm listening.
Solomon. How many times did I call you?
Oh God.
You know, there are so many things that happen behind the scene.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people will be amazed at what led to the demand of Obasanjo's third term. He probably wanted it personally, but you'll be amazed at the forces.
Uncle Jimmy.
Wait now. You have talked for 1 minute. I'm the one who is paid. I can talk for the next 40 minutes.
The power is in your hand. And so also the power is in the hand of Obasanjo. Okay, second time.
Okay, continue.
Now, if you are putting this argument for former president of Obasanjo,
yes.
Now a lot of people have bring this particular argument that why can't Buhari do it in 2016? Why is it now?
Yes.
And someone also defend President Muhammadu Buhari that if you do it in 2016, these big men they can take over power from him. So as far as I'm concerned, he's neither there or the other side.
Okay, all right, thank you. Now let me ask you, Simbo, are you one of those who feel inclined to the fact that Buhari did this just because of the elections, or which is just occurring to me as I'm sitting down here now, Simbo, I'm so excited. Or it could be that from day one he knew he was going to do it, but let us do it when elections are near and people will be occupied with other things, so the reaction will be limited. What do you think?
No, it truly that plays with two hands, policy and politics.
Okay.
Every decision you're about to take, you have to consider the political dimension of it.
Yes.
I mean, for instance, a President Trump actually has. I mean, when he put up, what is this guy? These guys I set up. When there's somebody who takes charge of policy, somebody takes charge of politics. So to make the argument that it was a political move and all of that is redundant, I would say.
Okay.
With respect to the people who are due respect to people making that kind of. Of course, a politician takes a political leader takes a.
He has to get some capital out of it.
You have to consider what is in this. For me,
but do you think that because we have limited time, so I have to ask you so many questions very quickly. But do you think that he did it out of a desperate move, or it was planned from the onset? Now the two of us are just speculating.
Yes.
So what do you think?
No, I would think it's
not a panic
latter
move.
day decision. I don't think it was something that was on the table from.
Do you think he thought that he might lose in the Southwest?
I would not think so. It's tough now. It's tough. It's tougher than it was for him at the beginning. He's lost equity. He's lost personal brand equity over time. But things are looking things are still looking well.
But
he's just doing more to reinforce his base and all of that.
When they say it's lonely at the top, it's actually true. And his own political reading of what's going on in the nation might not be what you and I are thinking of. It's lonely to be at the top. And I'm thinking, could it have been that some people told him that, look, if you do this, we can guarantee you this is what that could have happened.
Absolutely. That's what he has strategists around him. I mean, without us mentioning names, we know the man from Lagos. We know the man who
does he believe the man from Lagos?
Absolutely. I mean, maybe things have been rocky at some point in time, but definitely those are the minds thinking. The man who is secretary to the government is one of the strategic thinkers in the camp.
You also know, I've been very close to politicians, and believe you me, one of the biggest things for them is to get to the truth of the simplest of matters. The simplest of matters. And even the man you are alluding to himself has even been misled in current times. If he's a man who is just down the down the road that you are thinking of, he too. And sometimes politics I will never take part in it. Never. Not that I'm discouraging people,
but that man does a lot of strategic thinking, and
that one.
Yes,
he's a DSC,
and he has a team who they do that.
He has various teams.
Yes,
he is wise enough to have the various teams to counter them and so all kind of that. Those ones are Professor Emeritus.
So and that is how it is all over the world. I mean, President Trump did not just wake up to go and try and make peace with him. I mean, it's all political. I mean, what was it? What came out of it?
I suspect that they're still going to hit him.
Yeah, it's all about playing to his base. So all of these things, I mean, it will be a stupid politician who will not take into consideration how to enhance his political capital in whatever he does. Whatever it is. If you pay a visit, you smile, you laugh, you wave. Everything is political.
See, are you going to take part in politics at all?
No, I mean, I studied political science and I've studied to the highest level. So
yes.
I do background work for
are you going to take part actively in politics?
As in running for office?
Maybe not running for office, but at least being a political party.
No, I don't. No, being a political. I don't have a problem with taking up positions, but I don't see myself running for office because I know enough about what it entails. What the
and you think you might not have it?
No, I don't think I have I don't have the patience
to get
in the process to go and ask anybody for
I don't have
but to work behind the scene to
I don't my limits. I don't have a lot of things I know I can't do, which most people didn't know. I remember when I came on, I've not been a radio man really. I've always been in print and so on. And people say, this one that is talking must be looking. I just laugh at them. Taking public office for me, like I say, the only office I can take is that of an ambassador, and I'd like it to be in a far place, like maybe Singapore or Malaysia, or where I'm completely away from the shenanigans of politics that's going on. Because I'm not, I'd rather take an appointment under a military government, so that when I say something, I sign it, and that is what it is.
Even that, even the position of ambassador, there is a lot of politics involved.
I know, but maybe I can manage it. Maybe
like the one that played out in America, where the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Nigerian ambassador to US, who was the military man.
But I didn't say you. I didn't say I want to be ambassador. I'd like to be ambassador to Australia.
Okay.
Or Nigerian ambassador to New Zealand. Just be going for cocktails and
enjoy yourself.
Just sit back in retirement and enjoy yourself and come back a pauper. Hello. Hello? Very quickly, we don't have much time. Quickly.
My name is Open.
Yes.
Uncle Jimmy, I disagree completely with you.
I know a lot of people will.
And number one, the reason why the number one problem I have with it is this. See, Obasanjo is not the one making that argument. You are the one making it for him. So I decide, if Obasanjo that I know wants something done, he will do it. Obasanjo is practically not interested. And everybody who have had to, a lot of people have accosted him on this, and even when he was in power, people have tried to persuade him. Obasanjo was not interested in listening. He wasn't explaining, he was rejecting. There's a different way you are explaining that, look, it cannot be done now. And there is a very way that you can just say, look, I don't want to listen, just go away with your nonsense.
Okay. Because we are limited in time, and I hold the two more callers. The impression I want to correct is I'm not making any argument for Obasanjo. I'm just looking at the situation. I'm not his advocate. I'm not his PR person.
I'm trying to look at it from another point of view.
From another, you understand? Yes, and that's what I'm paid to do here. To look at all sides of the coin. And I particularly don't like when people say that I'm speaking on his behalf. I've never met the man. I look forward to meeting Buhari any day, and I think I'm going to arrange it. But I've never met Obasanjo. There are a lot of people that have spoken up, that it appears I've spoken up for, that I've never met. How many people believe that in Lagos I've never met BRF? Even when he launched his book and I reviewed it, he didn't turn up. And I'd love to meet him, but I'm somebody who minds his business. So it's not a question of speaking for Buhari. It's just to say that, okay, given the circumstance, even if he wanted to do it so badly, could he have done it? I mean, that's as simple as that. Please, I'm not his representative. I'm not his PRO. I'm not his lawyer. I'm not his spokesperson. Am I his fan? Simbo, do you think I'm his fan?
Well, it's politics. Maybe we'll discuss that some other day.
No,
You now
can't-
know where you stand because
No, you know, no.
his politics is.
Let me tell you, I can't be his fan. That's why I asked that question, because as in university, when Obasanjo was in his first whatever, I'm a Kalakuta man. He was during the time that Fela's house was burnt. But like, it happens that people should know, in this job, you put your personal prejudices, you try to put it aside. Would I be happy to see him and hug him? That's between him and myself. But luckily, I've never met him. I mean, so. Hello. Ambassador, you have just 1 minute because we have to leave now.
Okay, Uncle Jimmy, look, our passenger will not do it 100 times. 100 times will not do it.
Calm down.
Let me call you back. Let me tell you one thing. You know, in 1999, when I met you started this June 12th holiday, and you know.
Oh, we lost him. Simbo, that's where we'll end it today.
Okay, thank you so much.
Very nice. Thank you for coming at the shortest notice. Let it be on record that I called Simbo yesterday at about 7.
Yeah, late.
Yeah, let's because I saw an interesting post on Facebook. Was it on Facebook or Twitter?
Both on Facebook.
I said this man must come. Let's have a discussion tomorrow. And I've had a lovely time with you, Simbo.
Thank you so much.
As usual. And thanks for giving me a copy of your magazine. Let me just tell you, the magazine is called Nigeria Africa Enterprise. Yeah. Okay, and see, Fisherman, look who's on the cover. Look at that. All right, so that's where we'll leave it for today. And thank you very much, Kemi, for your vital analysis on men and women's wahala, as reflected in Diabune. That's where we'll end it for today. And God willing, I hope to be here tomorrow. The bearded one. This beard is growing by the day. The cap you promised me for over 3 weeks now, you keep telling me tomorrow. So your nickname now is Tomorrow. Tomorrow. And to Sadiq, thank you very much. God bless you. He's also a bearded one. Look at the shoe where you wear today. There's one of the old ones. The representative of people, where is he? I can't see his head. He's falling asleep. Where he's gone downstairs to be with the people. Okay. So God willing, we'll be here tomorrow, Thursday, 9 o'clock. See you then.